Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Thank you for tuning in. Foodie Beauty has been displaying quite a range of extreme emotions over the last several weeks. On the one hand, she has been down in the dumps and talking about Canada, more specifically returning to Canada and everything that would entail. And on the other hand, she has been extremely excitable, laughing a whole lot at nothing in particular, and just being in an overly happy mood. Today, I want to talk about why that may be, how Salah impacts her moods, and more specifically, what it is that brings Salah around. Why does he show up when he does? So let's get to it. Now, although we have over 2 years worth of time that we could reference, we are just going to take a look at the last 2 months. So March and April specifically. March kicked off with Ramadan. And March was a month full of rages for Foodie Beauty. She was raging practically every single day. Each day there appeared to be something different that would set her off. For those of you who are interested, I did a number of videos during this period of time which did address her various rages. Now, also during the month of March, which was Ramadan, Salah wasn't around very much. In fact, he was barely around at all. She would stream multiple times a day for multiple hours, and he was nowhere to be seen or heard from. Now, granted, the consensus was that because it was Ramadan, he was spending the time with his friends and his family, and Foodie Beauty was left alone. As we got to the end of the month, however, Foodie Beauty's mood improved. Now, I attribute that to a number of things. First, she did a visa run. If you recall, she disappeared for about 3 days and had put up some pre-recorded content. Also, it was her birthday. And he was there on her birthday. Remember, he tried to sing and play happy birthday for her on his keyboard. So he was much more present the last couple of days. So what do we have here? We have the end of the month. He's around more. Her spirits are better. Now let's get to April. He is around less and less in April, and this is where the very long live streams begin. This is where she starts doing 6+ hour live streams. She would be streaming for half the day. As I mentioned in my previous video, she streamed 18 hours out of a 36-hour period, and Salah was nowhere to be seen or heard from. There were no signs of life, and every time somebody would inquire, Foodie Beauty would say that he was busy or that he was sleeping. It was also during April that talk of Canada picked up. She would reference Canada more often than not and would talk about returning at some point. Prior to this, she was adamant that they had no plans to go to Canada, that they had never even discussed it, and that Salah had never even brought it up. But now, she was thinking about Canada. She had Canada on the mind, to the point where she was very specific about the steps that she would need to take to return. The more she talked, the more it became murky about whether she was planning to return by herself or with Salah. She kept making mention of having to go back to Canada for health issues in order to get a complete workup, to address her diabetes, to address her various ailments. So the more she talked, the more it sounded like she would be going to Canada by herself and Salah would be staying behind. Now, I know many of us know that probably has to do with the logistics of his passport and all of those legalities. However, she seemed resigned to the fact that she would be returning at some point, sooner rather than later. And she said specifically that she knows that she is not going to be in Kuwait forever. In addition to this, the one who shall not be named and their sidekick or partner was being brought up quite frequently in conversations and in contexts where they did not belong. For example, in referring to a child's bed sheet, she said that it was as gray as Dee Dee. In talking about a Cobb salad, that reminded Foodie Beauty of Dee Dee as well. And there are other instances and examples, and the examples that I'm mentioning are obviously not exhaustive. There are plenty. The point is that Canada was very much on the mind. And then we had the occurrence of the boil. Again, where was Salah during the boil? If the boil was in fact true, where was he? Why did he not take her to the hospital when it ruptured? Why did he not take her to a clinic? Again, the longer the live streams, the longer that Foodie Beauty would talk, the clearer it became that he was not there. And the excuse again, he's busy, he's doing other things. The boil comes, the boil goes. We're headed towards the latter part of April, and Salah makes a reappearance. They have that whole spat, allegedly, about the guy who spoke to her when she was out feeding the cats. But what's interesting here is the fact that he reappeared and when he reappeared. We'll get back to that point in a moment. For now, let's have a listen to an exchange between the two of them right after that spat when she was sitting by the pool and he was swimming, because I think there are several notable things that were said that become important to what we're talking about.
You've been on for 5 hours? Wow. So I don't have to go...
Are you planning to do 8 hours live?
Yeah. I don't want to have to go live later, and I don't want to have to do any content later.
Then lay down, watch movies, watch your show.
Yes.
So Salah asks her if she is planning to do an 8-hour live stream, and her response is that she does not want to do content later and that she does not want to stream later. A few points on that. She has been making it more and more obvious that doing live streams is a chore and a drag on her. She does not like doing them. She does them because she has to. The month prior, she had said that she was doing a live stream to get it out of the way, and then she tried to backtrack when she realized what she had said. I would not appreciate this if I was a Beezer. The second point on that interaction that we just listened to is the fact that she didn't make any more content that night. She did not stream that night. In fact, she disappeared for about 24 hours or so. The next time we saw her, a day or so later, she came back wearing the big sunglasses, and she implied that she had vertigo. Now, what was interesting about that was that she said she was wearing the glasses because she looked sick. This is a person who has appeared ill, done ill things on camera. How she appeared was never a factor for her. So for her to say that she's wearing the sunglasses because she looks sick was very notable. Also, she did not say that she was wearing them because it prevents the dizziness or because it's blocking the light and the light was affecting her dizziness or vertigo or whatever it was that she was claiming at the time. No, it had to do with her appearance. I'm inclined to say that she wanted some time off because these live streams are such a chore for her, such a burden for her, because she does not enjoy them, that she decided that she was going to take a day off and then came back claiming that she had the vertigo. This accomplished two things. It accomplished bringing her sympathy from her viewers. It also accomplished getting some attention from Salah. Now, you may be wondering, how is she getting attention from Salah if Salah is not around? Well, all of a sudden he is. Notice it is the latter part of April. He has made a reappearance the same way that he did in the latter part of March. What happens in the latter part of a month? Supposedly, that is when Foodie Beauty gets paid from YouTube. That is when the money comes in. That is also when Salah comes around. He is much more present the last week, week and a half of every month. Suddenly, he's less busy. Suddenly, he has much more free time. Suddenly, we hear him more. He's interacting with her more. Coincidence? I think not. Now, many may say that, of course, he comes around because he wants her money, he wants her YouTube earnings. And I think it is a bit more nuanced than that. Here's what I mean. He is no longer participating on the couple's channel. He's no longer really participating on her channel, nor is he in the chat very much anymore. So why would he have any claim to her earnings? I think that he is being paid out for his services. I think that he comes around at the end of the month to help her with her various tasks and chores, whether that has to do with making the car payment or making the rent payment or purchasing the groceries online or any of the other myriad of things that, she has to do just to get by. But he also collects his salary at this point in time as well. In my previous video, I talked about how I believe that Foodie Beauty does have a memo pad, but that she is not tracking the number of kisses that she receives from Salah, but rather she's tracking the various things that he does for her throughout the month so that she could pay him accordingly for those services, for his assistance, for his help, for his caretaking, or any of the other things that he does. Now, there are two other clips that I want us to listen to, which kind of allude to what I am talking about. Let's have a listen.
I'm honestly so tired. Ever since I used the washroom, I'm tired now. How come cats get the zoomies? Is it warm now, babe?
I was speaking just to bring the stuff from the car and come back. I didn't expect to swim. I forgot the towel.
So just like the previous clip that we watched, this one is from that very same day in the same conversation. It is following the spat that they had after she was allegedly talking to the man when she was feeding the cats. And she's sitting by the pool, and he came downstairs, and he was actually swimming in the pool. And he says that he just came downstairs to get the items from the car and had not planned on swimming, and that is why he did not have a towel. And the key part of what he said is that he was coming downstairs to get the things from the car. The only things that Foodie Beauty had purchased were the shisha and the cat food. Now, unless there was something else in the car that he needed to take upstairs, those are just two very simple items. But it seems like he had to bring them upstairs. He more than likely also had to bring Foodie Beauty upstairs because she does not like riding the elevator by herself. She's afraid of elevators. Those are the types of things that, in my opinion, he is being compensated for. Taking the elevator ride with her, carrying her things from the car to the apartment, and other things of that nature. Various tasks of that nature that she probably pays him a salary for. Now let's have a listen to another clip from her live stream today, because I think that this one is even more telling and speaks to exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
Smithers. It's me. Can't get the edges though with this thing. Yeah, she loves him.
Answer Lizzie.
Yeah, my mom loves him.
That's very kind and lovely family.
Yeah. Even despite the issues we've had, because she knows he's very caring of me, and so she messages him a lot when she's worried about me. Please take care of my cutie.
So Foodie claims that her mom reached out to Salah because Foodie hadn't responded to a message from her. Side note, she did tell us that she spent the day yesterday, I believe, sending out voice memos to people, but either that never happened or she didn't send one to her mom. In any event, the wording of the clip that we just watched is interesting because she says that her mom knows that despite the issues that she and Salah had, that he cares for her. Cares for her, as in being her caretaker. Now, don't get me wrong. As I've said in some of the comments that I've responded to, I think that Foodie's mom and her aunt do believe that this is an actual marriage, a legitimate marriage on the up and up. But it's Foodie's wording that's interesting here, that Salah cares for her, almost as in being her caretaker. Now, many will say that, well, the fact that he brings her items upstairs, that's just him being a good husband, or that it's cultural, and of course that the mom would reach out to the husband. But we have to keep in mind that this is not a typical situation. We cannot compare it to a typical situation where those things might be true. In a typical situation, the husband does not appear on or around payday to collect his share of the funds. Now, as I said, that clip that we just watched was from her live stream today, and the vertigo is long gone, and Foodie is in a very happy, bubbly, joyous mood, and he appears to be the same. Now, in her case, her mood might be attributed to the fact that he is there because we have noticed the pattern that when he's around, she is in better spirits, and when he is not, she is glum and down in the dumps. Maybe also, given that, it was payday, maybe they have access to certain things that enhance both of their moods. Who is to say? But the point is that there is a pattern. The end of the month comes, he's around, she seems to start feeling better, he disappears the following month, she's down in the dumps, all of her ailments come back, she's streaming for hours and hours on end. Rinse, repeat. So her good moods are contingent on his presence, and his presence is contingent on there being YouTube earnings so that he can get his paycheck for all of the caretaking and errands that he does on her behalf. That is what I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for listening, and until the next one.